Systemic sclerosis is an autoimmune disorder of connective tissue which results in fibrosis affecting the skin, internal organs, and vasculature. It is typically characterized by Raynaud's phenomenon, digital ischemia, sclerotectly, cardiac, lung, gut, and renal disease. It is more common in women as compared to men, having the ratio of 4 to 1. Depending upon the extent, it is divided into diffuse and localized type of systemic sclerosis. The two types are namely the diffuse cutaneous systemic sclerosis, which is present in 30% of cases, and second and more predominant one is the localized cutaneous systemic sclerosis. The pathophysiology of systemic sclerosis is not completely understood. There is an evidence of genetic component in which it is associated with alleles at the HLA locus. Environmental involvement includes the occurrence of systemic sclerosis after exposure to silica vinyl chloride. There is an immunological dysfunction which involves the activation of Th17 subtype of T lymphocytes. This results in the deposition of type 1 collagen specifically. This results in the symmetrical thickening, tightening and induration of the skin. There is arteriolar narrowing resulting in arterial wall thinning. The clinical features of systemic sclerosis is very widespread. It involves skin in which there is non-pitting edema of fingers and flexor tendon sheaths. The skin becomes taut, thus giving the typical sclerodactyly appearance. The diffuse and the localized type of systemic sclerosis are separated on the basis of extent involved. In diffuse type, there is involvement of the skin above the knee and the elbow and involves the trunk. In the localized type, the skin is involved below the knee and the elbow. The Raynaud phenomena is a universal feature and it can precede other features by many years. In Raynaud phenomena, there is the ischemia, infarction and necrosis of the small blood vessels in the extremities. The musculoskeletal involvement includes arthralgia and flexor tenosynovitis. There is noted muscle weakness and wasting. The gastrointestinal involvement includes the esophagus, in which there is erosive esophagitis, dysphagia, and odynophagia, which mean difficulty in swallowing and painful swallowing. The stomach involvement includes the early satiety and the typical watermelon stomach appearance. The bowel dilation can result in the acute abdomen. The pulmonary involvement is more common in case of the localized type of systemic sclerosis. It results in the pulmonary hypertension. A pulmonary hypertension for a long time can result in the cor pulmonale, that is right heart failure. In systemic sclerosis, it is the only way through which the cardiac involvement is done. Due to widespread fibrosis, it can also cause interstitial lung disease. The renal involvement is characterized by this hypertensive renal crisis. It is more common in diffuse cutaneous systemic sclerosis. It is a very fatal condition. To investigate and to diagnose the systemic sclerosis, the ANAs are positive in 70% of cases. Specifically for the diffuse cutaneous systemic sclerosis, there is this antibody called topoisomerase 1, also called SCL70, which is present in 30% of diffuse type of systemic sclerosis patients. In 60% of cases of localized cutaneous systemic sclerosis, anti-centromere antibodies are present and they are diagnostic. Both of these specific antibodies are specific to rule out the other complication and involvement of other systems. Routine hematology is done. Renal, liver and bone function tests are done. Urinalysis is done. Chest X-ray, transthoracic echocardiography and lung function tests are performed to rule out interstitial lung disease and pulmonary hypertension. Some specific tests include, in case of pulmonary hypertension, we do the right heart catheter measurements. For esophagus, in case of dysphagia, we will perform the barium swallow. And to rule out the bacterial overgrowth in stomach, hydrogen breath test is done. In case of the management of systemic sclerosis, there is no treatment available to halt or reverse the fibrotic changes taking place in the disease. But the symptomatic treatment can be done. For Raynaud phenomenon, we will counsel the patient to avoid cold, any stress condition, and to cover his or her fingers. In case of an uncontrolled type of Raynaud phenomenon, calcium channel blockers, losartan, fluoxetine, and sildenafil can be used. An endothelin 1 antagonist, bosentan, can also be used in case of ischemic digital ulcers. In gastrointestinal involvement for reflux esophagitis, proton pump inhibitor are given. Some antibiotics including rifamycin can be given along with metoclopramide or domperidone. To treat the hypertension, that is the renal involvement, ACE inhibitors can be given. For joint involvement, if not contraindicated, some NSAIDs or other analgesics can be given. To treat the pulmonary involvement, the pulmonary hypertension, bosentan, that is endothelin 1 antagonist, is given. In case of severe involvement of heart and lung, transplant can be done. In interstitial lung disease, glucocorticoids and pulse IV cyclophosphamide are the mainstays of treatment in patients who have progressive interstitial lung disease.